Jerry tweeted that this started off as an idea back in 2018 between you and him. And I'm just curious over the years how that story and the idea evolved into actually deciding to sit down and write this thing.
I recently went through my emails and saw an email as far back as 2013 where we
Oh,
were
wow.
writing on this. And if you're not a comedy writer, you wouldn't know this, but if you are, or any writer, the writer's room has a whole sub level of comedy that does not service the show that it's writing for. We call them writer's room jokes.
Okay.
And the Pop-Tart movie was kind of a writer's room joke. When Jerry and I would get together with our friends, we would riff on this premise that we'd been talking about forever, about the invention of the Pop-Tart and how Kellogg's had to catch up to Post, and how silly of an idea that would be if someone ever made a movie about it. We even went so far, I think, as casting George Clooney in the leading role, with Coen brothers kind of Clooney takes like this, what do you mean Post, and it would make us laugh. And that was really the beginning, the kernel of this whole idea. And during the pandemic, when none of us were working, I remember there was this female comedian that tweeted out this joke that really stunned me. She said, when this whole thing is over, I'm going to find time to write my novel. And I went, wow, that's such a good joke. And why am I just sitting here not using my time? It was such a smart joke. And I told Jerry that, and I said, "Come on, let's come out of this tragedy with something. The world is so sad right now. Let's get together, even if it's just social, and we write something that we never show anybody. Let's just get." He said, "I'll give you 2 hours." And we had so much fun in that first session. And soon after, Andy Robin, one of the writers, one of our Seinfeld writers too, said, "I think this movie's like The Right Stuff. Remember when Jeff Goldblum is running down the hall? They've got a hot new breakfast pastry." Because we know, sit down. That really made us laugh. And then we went, okay, now I think we know the story. And then now here we are. Very quickly in that process, Jerry said, "I think I might want to direct this." And then soon after, I think I might actually want to direct it and star in it. And then he goes, "Let's just see how the script turns out. I think I'm going to take this into Netflix and everywhere else and see if I can sell it." And here we are.
So the story is being told to a child and it's written in a very whimsical and fun way. I love how this makes it unique in comparisons to other biopic films that have been out recently. And was that always the primary intention to just have fun with the script and just have a blast?
Yeah, none of us were interested in an origin story. We just, that's not what we write. What we were very much interested in is writing something that was like a Seinfeld episode in tone. And lucky for us, we had Seinfeld with us. So that became very easy. But if you look back at the series, you'll see, like, Larry and Jerry wrote about a version of the New York Yankees. It's not exactly accurate how the office works,
That's
but it's
true.
funny, right? Or Tyson Chicken, I remember. There are many brands. J. Peterman, which, was based on a real brand, but they Seinfeldized it. And we did the same thing with this. We were lucky enough to have a bigger budget and a lot of funny, a much bigger, more famous cast. And we essentially just took an existing story and Seinfeldized it. Where we couldn't figure out what happened, we made it up. Where we
Amazing.
found what would have happened that wasn't all that funny, we just said, how about this? How about if we do it like that? Marjorie Post never ran the Post company and wasn't in charge of cereals, but let's put her there. Let's make her a strong female character in a man's world, because men are idiots in the 60s. you know so let's have her there, and let's have Melissa McCarthy going, raising an eyebrow every time a man acts like a man in with the 60s, in a 60s way that's no longer acceptable. So, all of it is just Seinfeldian in tone.
Yeah, absolutely. You have so many big name actors, big name comedians in this film. One of my favorite, there's so many amazing characters, but one of my favorite is Hugh Grant as Tony the Tiger. It made me wonder if any characters were written with actors in mind, or was everyone cast later on?
Um, Jim Gaffigan from the very start, we thought looked like someone who would be in the Kellogg's family. He just looked like that guy. And that part was written for him. And in fact, he may have been the first person to sign on. I think Jerry called him in the middle of writing, said, "Do you want to do this?" And he went, "Yeah." Comedians are the best. They'll just answer right away. They go, "Yeah, we'll do it." Jerry famously called Bill Burr to play JFK. He and I were having a cigar together on a Friday night, and he said, "I want to offer JFK to Bill Burr." And I go, "He's from Massachusetts like I am, and he's the type of guy who didn't hang out with the Kennedys like I did. So I think that's a great idea." And he said, "Do you have to ask anybody?" And I go, "We do, but let's not. Let's just do it." And so he calls Bill Burr, who picked up on stage in the middle of his act. And he said, "Hey, do you want to play JFK in my new movie?" He goes, "Yeah, sure. I'll call you back." Just hung up the phone. So, it really was amazing.
Those prosthetics, by the way, were incredible on Bill Burr. I actually didn't notice it was him until I closed my eyes and heard his voice. But just fantastic prosthetics. I didn't recognize him at all.
Well, let me tell you a story about that. Bill Corso, who did the makeup on the movie, who's a famous Hollywood makeup person, when we were thinking about, what direction do we go with this character? Are we trying to do Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln, someone serious who's going to have a serious approach? Or do we want our funny approach? Of course, it was funny approach. And, we were looking at Massachusetts comedians of note, and there's really only one right now, and that's Bill Burr. So Bill Corso did a mock-up of it, and I wish I could show it to you. We were stunned when you put hair on bald Bill Burr. He looked like JFK. We both went, "Oh my God, that's JFK." It was such a wonderful surprise to see that happen. And then, Bill came ready to play. He did a lot of improvising, and he was so funny. It's one of the bigger surprises in the movie for us. That scene was never as big as it was until Bill Burr stepped into that role.
I really love the bowl and spoon award. I thought it was a really fun way to kick off the movie. I was wondering what Kellogg's or Post product for you as a child won the and bowl and spoon award.
Oh, well, uh, first the Pop-Tart. I mean, that was a mind blower. But I'm a Frosted Flakes guy. I like the Frosted Flakes. And the Bowl and Spoons is really Jerry. I actually have a Bowl and Spoon award. You want to see it? Let me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've got one right here. I'm not supposed to get up during the interviews, but look at this.
Oh,
I
that's so cool.
I took home a spoonie. Where is it?
That's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Jerry thought it would be really funny to have this idiot award show for cereal, and
Yeah.
we agreed, and there it is. One of
Oh,
the
I love it.
leading
Well,
bowls.
Spike, thank you so much for your time. I had a wonderful time with this movie. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Nice to meet you.